Hello. How's it going? What's up, people? It's your boy is33. Prepared as always for a live stream. I'm just gonna check something. Hopefully. Yeah. Okay, I sound cool. Cool. So, tonight, HLE versus BLG in action. Just done a little bit of a vibe check more than anything, just to get prepared, as you do. So, today's series, we're covering all five, well, it's not 5 games, it's 4 games of these two teams facing off. I also need to do one quick thing. Remove that. Let's also get some nice music here. I'm really tired. So, hopefully this is a decent stream. We'll just go royalty. And we'll just stick. There we go. Hopefully that actually sounds cool. If it doesn't, whoops. If it's a little loud, I'm just casually letting my stream catch up so I can gauge sound. It doesn't sound bad. Anyway, I'll keep this in my ear so that I can actually hear it. Also, standing like last time, I'm really enjoying these standing streams. The issue for me right now is currently setup. But yeah, we're going for a late night stream. It's a bit more chilled. Standing actually helps me a little more when I'm doing these. But yeah, actually I might just drop it slightly. But yeah, just these are chill. We can have fun. And it also gives me some comfort. So I've actually been standing on a hardwood floor while doing these, which is never fun. It hurts my feet. But yeah, this time got some nice cushioning down there. Anyway, let's get into the draft for game number 1. Callista, Aurora, Yone's probably expected to come into these bands. Renekton's being removed here. And I also expect maybe the Ashe to be removed overall. There's some good picks still left up and available for both teams, really, as these drafts are going to shape up. Expect BLG to probably ban out the carries. They're kind of forced into the power pick banning. Yone's one of them. Aurora is the other. And as a whole, I think that we should realistically expect, as I just need to quickly do something because this is actually quite loud. Is that working? It's hard to tell. Because I've lowered... Oh, because I muted it. Dumbass me. Anyway. That should be making some noise. Hopefully, It sounds good. I'm actually going to quickly check that, because it's been a bit weird. Okay, that is so much better. Okay. Now, because there's people moving around, there may be dogs making noise, because that's what tends to happen when people in my house decide to move about. But yeah, we're going into game 1. Draft already shaping up pretty nicely. We've already see the Skarner ban coming through as HLE's last ban, as my dogs finally start to bark. They really are territorial beasts, let's be honest. They're little buggers, ours. They are what we like to call sock thieves, who, as a whole, just steal all our socks in the house. So, that's that. I'm just repositioning my mic now for standing, because it was for when I was doing my predictions. Actually, if you don't know, I do my predictions standing now because it's a little bit better. But yeah, just moving the mic over here so that we can talk into it as we watch this. It's pretty nice. Anyway, band's coming through right now. And as you can see, Skarner, last band from HLE. I think there's some other options left up and available. I mean, Jack's big power pick, actually for Doran, getting taken away here. Popped off on it the other day, so that is a nice band to say the least. Silas, immediate priority for HLE. This guy, in the moment, there's currently so many good ults that no matter what you pick, he's going to get something good. So that's why teams are kind of prioritizing him now into the meta, especially considering ADCs in the mid lane are becoming more and more stereotypical. So they're likely to, well, Silas tends to do okay into them. Obviously the sustain through the Kingslayer is very strong. So the fact that it's locked in first kind of forces BLG to pivot to an AP mid. The Ahri, who can kind of match the Silas mobility, obviously the Abscond Abduct, gets matched up pretty well with the Spirit Rush. So the other issue is now Silas has the ability to have multiple dashes. Cease and Desist, now picked up alongside BLG's for BLG in the jungle, removes that kind of Ahri counter as a whole. It now kind of forces HLE to, well, adapt with the draft. Now, they've already locked in the Gnar, and jungle is where you typically see them look to go to here to kind of match up with the Vi. Now, I expect a tankier jungle pick. The Poppy probably is that, as you kind of can deny the Ahri's dashes, the Vi's dashes. You realistically have a lot of value without really having to see much of BLG's draft. Now, combine that with a Gnar and a Silas, HLE kind of have given us the concept of their draft. They have gone full dive. So BLG need to draft some disengage or their own full comp to battle what HLE want to do. The Rumble for Bin, the carry top into the Gnar. Well, typically the Gnar should win out early. I've seen a lot at Worlds this year, the Rumble winning out that matchup. Just pure straight up. And Rumble, while most people, or me specifically, thought it'd be the most banned champion at Worlds, it's been allowed through into picking bans a lot more than what it should do. But yeah, coming into the second rotation of bans, safety being removed from both sides. Honestly, BLG removing the Xayah themselves is a little surprising considering, well, let's just say that both teams could do with a safe ADC. The fact that Jin's still up, Ezreal's still up, leads me to believe we probably will see a trade of them ADCs. Unless HLE decide to ban it, though I don't really see that coming through here, considering the Sejuani ban targeting here by BLG should realistically make me believe that support bans are going to come through. The Ashe ban, that's another quite long range ADC be removed. In my opinion, Ezreal's a good lock here for Elk, but I don't know if Elk plays this champion. He's more so the Jinx Jin kind of player, the guy to go the super carry rather than the poke build. And with BLG, if they lock that rel, they aren't revealing what pick they want for their ADC, so they're saving counter overall. And HLE, well, let's just say this, the Ezreal is probably going to be locked in. You get the safety, and you don't really have to deal with BLG's comp. The issue is you need to be avoiding the Ahri and the Vi, and whether or not they're capable of doing so is a difficult thing to do, especially considering what you're going into. The Alistar I like is it does provide some peel. Level 1's atrocious but once you get to 2-3 you can kind of protect your carry, and the spot lane matchup, really there's not going to be too much action there, I don't feel, with the fact that the Ezreal gets locked in. Now overall, what I do expect to happen is BLG to secure some early pressure, HLE to then just scale up as the game goes on and outscale what BLG have gotten for themselves. Overall, their comp just screams scale, and while BLG do have some semi-wombo combos of the equalizer cease and desist from the Vi, with then the bullet time over the top of it, it's a very hard comp to really execute to get the all-out burst that you've realistically drafted for yourselves. But as we have finished draft for game number 1, we're getting into game very shortly. I expect to see a lot of attention from the junglers to the top side of the map. Bin versus Doran is an interesting matchup, because Doran's kind of been this silent but deadly carry for this HLE lineup, whereas Bin, he's known as the Giga Chad of the top lane. He's been dominant all year long. For the majority of his international performances, he's always on top, if you get the joke. Anyway, runes are on screen, just taking a look at it. Phase Rush for the Poppy, so not going for the more aftershock sort of build, so you have the safety. Instead, a little bit more overall aggression, as Bin could be caught here. Abscond of Duck comes through. Damage is coming out. I think he might have to flash. He's gonna be... No, they can't dive under tower here. They get the pressure down. He could actually be dove here. Silas goes in. The Abscond of Duck misses, but Delight's able to get first blood, but HLE could lose more, as Delight gonna have to flash away from the crash down. It's a 1-for-1 trade in the overall scheme of it, as both top laners fall, but in the end, HLE come out with an extra 300 gold as they got first blood. A simple and easy play overall from them, and it's a very nice play overall, to be honest. But Viper could be jumped on here. On just gonna be forced back. Anyway, we're already seeing an early lane swap, and this is actually surprising. Both teams have matched the lane swap, both on top side, and that means that both top laners have to go bot. It is interesting to see though that Doran had to TP down to the bot side, So, realistically speaking, this is basically HLE slow to the tempo. After getting first blood, it's kind of mitigated the kill that they've gotten because of the fact that Doran's had to overinvest to get to the bot side, and BLG are able to start to get a tempo because level 1, don't forget, Alistar really has nothing. Level 2, headbutt pull, that's all he's got. And the fact is, Ezreal's only really got Mystic shots. MF has the double shot, the double up. Bullet time isn't that one, it's the I forget what it's called. Cannonballs from the sky, I forget what it's called. But yeah, she has that. And then she's got her quick step, her strut, if you want to go for that one. But it depends really on what Elk wants to do here. Now, of note, Elk has actually gone for barrier in this game, and that's actually quite surprising, considering the fact that there's a Poppy, there's a Nard, there's a Silas, and an Alistar. Realistically speaking, you're going to be avoiding Alistar E, Silas E, and then Poppy E if you go for cleanse here. However, mid lane, Zeka going to be jumped on possibly here as 3 members of HLE show up, but it's in return matched by BLG. But yeah, to be honest, right now, the game going to slow down a little bit, and I'm really looking forward to it. Anyway, let's just slow it down a little bit here. We're already starting to see some interesting things taking shape, as Doran's actually gone cool. Now, this kind of is interesting to me, because originally I thought that HLE might play towards the bot side, sorry, top side of the map, and with it, give Doran some agency to play the game. Now, interestingly enough, going cool leads me to believe that he's not expecting any attention at all. And it's actually probably going to be the ADCs and mid laners receiving ganks early. And maybe not. Maybe we just get Peanut and Shun just farming up a storm. That could be the other ulterior kind of style of Zeka's constantly being pressured here. Knight playing the Ahri to its extent, very smart, as already level 6 for Bin. This is the issue. You get to lane late and you don't hit level 6 first. Only about a quarter of the XP bar left for Doran to get to level 6. But yeah, he takes over now. And that's an interesting thing to note, because 6s are coming on board for solo laners as Void Grubs spawn. Shun and Peanut both wanting these camps. First one's going to be secured here by the BLG jungler. And realistically here, BLG have won if they get just the one, but gonna secure 2. And they're actually going to get all 3, so only need to secure 1 more off the next wave of grubbies, but that's an actual massive advantage considering the fact that Bin's already starting to ascertain push against Doran, and while obviously there's a slight lead in the gold department for Doran, he's still kind of behind in the matchup in terms of tempo. The Rumble's already built steel toe caps to kind of mitigate the damage that Doran can do. So realistically speaking, this matchup's quite hard for Doran to play into. especially now Bin is starting to get to the stage of game where he can just burn down the little Nah and not really have to worry about overstepping. As there's a baby crying. Why do I hear a baby crying? Needless to say, Delight's going to get the flash play onto on, as that's the keeper's verdict used. Crash down to buy a bit more time, but the Silas is going to secure the second kill for HLE. That's an overall good play, and that's kind of the ARAM play. If you've ever played Alistar in ARAM, typically you go snowball and use your Q then, and then headbutt the target back to your team. Realistically speaking, you can do the same thing with Hex Flash or Flash to just get behind the target and then headbutt them in. You can then, in theory, use your Q a bit more offensively. But speaking of offense, HLE hunting for Knight gets out the Spirit Rush as well as the Flash. So 2 summoners down from the BLG mid laner, or a summoner down from the BLG mid laner and his ulti. But it does come at a cost to HLE, as the Drake is secured by the LPL first seed. So the game's starting to shape up, ready for the second wave of grubs. A minute 40, and both bot laners are in the top side of the map ready. Support's coming up to secure vision. And yeah, this is starting to get a little bit more interesting, as BLG try to all out into Viper. Don't get much more than maybe an arcane shift, but even then, they're still applying pressure to get the wave into the tower. And it's just going to be put in. Easy clear up here for HLE. Turret plating not going to be threatened. And this is another big shift up here. Bin's been moving into mid lane to battle against Zeka. Knight moved to the bot side. Obviously, it's a TP disparity as to why Bin's in mid and Knight's in bot. As Knight can TP up to a potential play, Bin cannot for the foreseeable future. So once Grubby spawn, there's more of a contest here for BLG, and with how their lane assignments are being put in, they really want to contest these Void Grubs. They don't want to give over any to HLE with how it's shaping up, which as a whole should allow for 6 Grubbies to be secured. Now, HLE, just looking at where they're positioned, Doran's playing very aggressive with the wave, so I don't think he really wants to contest. All things considered, he is mega. That just timed out, so Knight will come back to lane, and BLG know that they don't have to contend with a mega Gnar, so realistically speaking, HLE don't have to over-aggress. However, they are. 1 grub secured here, and BLG have kind of already won this. They don't need any more. And while they could possibly contend, as the engage comes through, the crashdown's denied, but Viper's already being jumped on by Shun. On the top side of the play, Zeka's already killed off the Rel, but the continuation of HLE goes forward. Cease and desist is going to get onto Elk, and he is knocked airborne, as Silas going to disengage from the MF because he knows Viper's going to get the pick. Zeka secures another as Knight falls. It's 4 members of BLG falling towards HLE, but crucially, and a massive crucially, 1 grub was secured by BLG, so they're already going to win out the trade of the grubs. So let's take a look at this fight again. It's a really good play from Delight. Denies the crash down with the headbutt pull. On's unable to get on, and that means that HLE can make the fight sloppy. Keeper's verdict goes wide, which is actually surprising, but I think they're grateful that it does, as Zeka steals the cease and desist to allow for his immediate engage onto Elk. Now, on top of that, the Abscond of Duct also tagging on to Knight means that the chase down from HLE is massive and get a considerable lead over their counterparts in the matchup. The only place where there is a subtle, and I mean subtle, lead for BLG is in the jungle, and even then, it's minute. Now granted, Shun has been farming up a storm this game. 95 to 80 CS. He's still, well, he was still ahead, but right now, you just look at this Poppy, 5 assists, involved in 90% of HLE's kills, and realistically speaking, gonna get stronger and stronger as this game goes on. Now, speaking of getting stronger, Doran's gonna be locked up here. Cease and desist and equalizer just dropped on his head, flashes to safety, but he is not safe under his own tower, and Bin secures the kill. As BLG, they punish the Mininar and get some semblance of gold into their back pockets. Now, what I do find interesting is, while BLG made that play topside, HLE immediately were making a response. Drake start for Peanut, and let's get back into this jungle matchup. At the start of the tournament, BLG weren't playing with Shun, they were playing with Wei. And while obviously things didn't really work out for him during the Swiss stage, HLE went into literally the last possible moment of qualifying to the knockout stage. They still made it once Shun came into this roster. This guy, if you don't know, known for the more tankier, the farm heavy picks rather than the carry orientated junglers. This guy excels on this Vi. It was popular during MSI when he was obviously main jungler for BLG, and gets to pilot it again here at the World Championship, where realistically speaking, he's putting on a clinic in terms of the jungle. There's been not really any chance for HLE to match him in the clear, and that's surprising considering Peanut is such a tenured jungler. This guy has won Worlds before, back on SKT, and he has been very, very dominant for such a long time. And this game, pretty much the tempo of the jungle was dictated early by Shun, and that's considering the fact that HLE have been the team getting the objectives for themselves. Now, already the Herald's being dropped, which is kind of surprising. Had a chance to kind of hold on to it. I get why, because you want to secure first tower and get the gold for that. However, BLG able to obviously clear the wave with the equalizer, as well as the fact that they're able to get a possible turnaround. Now, this could be a pick, as Keeper's Verdict's going to unlock away on. Spirit Rush going to allow for Knight to get in range to tag on with the charm. But BLG don't want to overstep. Realize HLE all grouping up as 5 as well, and we're not going to get any big team fight for the foreseeable future, because Drakes are being traded 1-for-1 in that department. We've already had the fights towards the top half of the map for this game, bar say a Baron fight, but that won't happen for another 4 minutes, realistically speaking. And so this game is going to slow down. We're going to probably start to see second items coming online, as just taking a look at the items that are already in the inventories of these champions, nothing really out the ordinary. Obviously, cheapo tank item for Peanut, the locket, building up to maybe Hollow Radiance or some Fire Cape, depending on which you'd go. I think if you want to survive the Vi, and more specifically the MF burst, you go for the Sunfire. If you kind of want to deal with the Ari and the Rumble, Hollow Radiance is probably the better of the two. Really comes down to preference. I think with the fact that he's got Merc Treads in his inventory, probably wants a bit more MR, because he's probably not going to be targeted down by the Vi, and it's more likely the Rumble or the Ari trying to get onto him to just kill him as he's retreating. So that little bit of extra resistance from them is always a nice thing. So how are things shaping up here? Well, Shun's trying to force a play onto Doran. Delight's going to cover his top laner. Meganar's going to come through. And that kind of means that BLG can't force a play onto him. Shun's going to show himself. Realizes he's on a ward. Sweeps it out. And BLG are trying to clear out this top side of a river. Realizing tier 1 and top side, pretty easy target. Get some golden tonight. Obviously, with the Void Mites, it does mean that it's a little bit easier for BLG to get the tower secure. Now, whether or not it turns into anything else, the tier 2 possibly going to be targeted here. Doubt they'll go for it or overextend for it, but it's still a possibility as Peanut forced to run away. He did start up this Drake. BLG in position to deny any continual take from them. However, Zekka shows up, and we could actually see a Barmy for the third Drake of the game. Ceases is going to come through here as the Vi is already onto the Poppy. Keeper's Verdict's going to buy a little bit more time, but Peanut is already down. Keep your eye on Doran as a Meganar. He's charged up. He can go in on. He's not going to be able to get in there. Doran is on, just body blocks him. However, because BLG threatened by the Meganar, unable to start up the Drake themselves, and they are just going to disengage, because we probably have a possibility of another flurry around the dragon. As yeah, all that really comes out of it is I'm noticing a Baron take here, possibly. But all that really comes out of it is the kill for BLG. Finally, HLE will start up the Drake. Peanut's return to the map, so this should be an easy secure. In return, BLG do get some Baron vision and some pressure in the top side of the map. But that's realistically it, as Zekka is able to clear the wave. We've not really discussed the Silas too much, but he is currently sitting 3-0-2. 2 completed items as a Cosmic Insight comes. Cosmic Drive comes into his back pocket. Cosmic Insight's the that's the new support item. Anyway. My brain is tired, can you tell? But yeah, just taking a look at how things are shaping up right now. HLE doing an alright job right now. Have a slight gold lead for themselves. The extra Drake helping in that regard, as well as the extra kills. But realistically speaking, the gold has been even the majority of the game, as BLG have been able to match pressure and with the objectives. The top side, things like the Void Mites, the Herald, coming into their kind of pool of things. Actually, they didn't secure the Herald. What am I on about? What they have got, though, is a very fair jungler and ADC. who are kind of their go-to in this game. Now, on HLE's side of things, they're pretty content with how this game's going. I think Zeka probably the most content, realizing the fact that the later this game goes, the more power he has. The fact that he isn't really rushing big damage items for the Silas, and instead these more utilitarian items is a bit telltale of how this game's really going, as all of HLE walkover reward. But yeah, as I'm saying, there's no like big damage item in his build. The Cosmic Insight second leads you to believe that he isn't really looking to burst out targets, more so just wants to sustain through a fight, get into the backside, put pressure down, get the CDR that these items provide, and just be able to sustain through fights. That's the name of the game for this Silas. And going into some of these champions, you think Diari providing extra charge down if he hijacks that ulti, the Vi, the guaranteed lockup that ult provides, the Rumble if he wants to just burn people down and cause a massive red carpet across the rift, combining two equalizers together. And then you've obviously got the Magnet Storm and Bullet Time if he really needs it. There's a lot of great ults on BLG's side of the rift to steal, and it kind of gives a lot of value onto Zeka's pick right now. But the game slowed down a considerable amount since the early game where everyone was pretty much brawling. And so it means that objectives are spawning without even really any fighting. So in a minute's time, we've got third Drake of the game if HLE secure it, but in total it's the fourth game overall. In the game overall, I should say. But yeah, HLE, BLG, jockeying realistically for position into the rivers. It's interesting to note Bin has secured a bit of vision on the bottom side of the river for the Drake. Meanwhile, BLG are baiting around the Baron. They've cleared out all the river vision and are kind of forcing HLE to clear it. A blue trinket was used, obviously, onto the Baron to spot that it hasn't been started. So, as a whole, BLG aren't going to threaten anything here unless they're able to clear things out. Now, silently, we've been watching a little bit of a CS league grow in the top lane. Bin 20 CS up on his counterpart, and it has led to not really much. Gold still sits in favor of this Gnar, but whether or not Doran can actually utilize it is a different kind of outcome, as the Rift Herald's going to spawn in... Scuttle Crab is going to spawn in the river. HLE secure it. TP is going to come in here from Zeka to join up with the team. And the potential of another Drake fight begins. Keep your eye on who's positioning forward. But Zeka's corralling BLG in. He's caught out Knight, who's isolated. The headbutt out and the Keeper's Verdict's just going to allow for an easy secure because the Vi got yeeted out the pit. BLG unable to stop Soul Point here, as HLE, they're closing ever closer to Ocean Soul. Now, just look at Delight transitioning from bottom side vision up to the top side of the map. Obviously, nothing in the pit here, bar two blue trinkets. So it will take a second for them to be cleared out by either team, but expect them to be cleared out and the Baron Dance beginning. We've got 4 minutes and 20 seconds until Soul for HLE, but this game's realistically turned down to one fight and it's over. That's basically how this game's gonna go. Good poke coming out here from Viper onto Elk, but yeah, realistically speaking, all we're doing is waiting for one fight and that's it. HLE probably gonna start up this Baron here as Knight gets pinned, jumped on, deleted by Viper, and HLE, they find the pick. A lovely play, no hesitation as Zek is continuing to chase. Shun's gonna be bullied away and the Baron is gonna be started by HLE. Just looking at where this fight is, Shun gonna come in, TP gonna be used, but he's gonna be pulverized, headbutted, sees assist into the pit, flashing away to safety. The bullet time gonna just delete the health bar as Nars gonna be forced to flash away. It's a lot of damage down onto BLG who are running the wrong, HLE who are running the wrong way, but he's isolating himself. Not gonna be able to stay alive. The keeper's verdict finds 2, and HLE are turning onto the isolated members. What the hell just happened? What? I'm sorry, what? Yeah, so that happened. Then we just flash forward as Elk flashes into his death? What happens there? I need a replay. But Delight's dead. Okay, so Delight, he isolates himself and sees Knight. That ward just giving vision. Immediate flash from the Poppy. Headbutt pull. Viper gets the kill. Simple as you like. Shun then starts to get bullied out. Heals up a little bit. TP's coming in. And BLG try to contest the Drake. The Baron, sorry. Shun though immediately was forced away because his team's not able to get close. And while the continuation of a chase from BLG happens, it's realistically good work here by HLE to disengage. The two-man keeper's verdict, and they're hunting for more as Elk flashes over. But that's the extent of the fight, and while it looked messy, I thought there'd be more, considering we kind of got jebaited out of the realistical continuation. Obviously Elk did flash, but I'm actually surprised he got out of there. And you look at the teamfight damage he did. It is quite a lot. But just looking at the members of HLE, and more specifically the items they've got. You got a Locket Shield on 2 members as the potential pick happens here as Peanut's going to be isolated, killed off. The Magnuson's going to come through. The bullet time isn't going to find much, but the headbutt pulverize combo will. Delight finds the members, and now Viper gets the free hit. It's Doran and Viper free killing BLG on the Rift, and they're looking to ace them out. They won't be able to do so as the solo laners of BLG survive, but this Baron on 2 of the HLE should result in a bit more pressure onto the map. Now, granted, that gold lead says 2.2k off this Baron, but we watch this play again. It's just Shun forcing the fight. He catches Peanut. It's a good steadfast presence, but it's just a great cease and desist out from the Vi to deny the escape. Zeka has the Spirit Rush, can do some work here, as Viper is just free hitting, let's be honest. He's just able to kill off members here and there. It's disappointment out from BLG as they get killed off here. And with Soul now on the table, Knight's health bar is already chipped away at. Make It Rain's gonna spot out Doran, but the Nars just charging the bar. He's gonna have this in time. Keeper's verdict isn't going to be needed, and the potential chase on comes through here as Zeka's just spirit rushing around in the backline. On sacrifices himself to make a play, but Narl, he comes through. It's a double kill for HLE, and they're actually just wiping the floor. The Rumble burns to a crisp as he gets a double kill, but Zeka matches, and HLE more than likely securing first blood in this series. a dominant way to start this series from HLE. And while the game isn't really done just yet, they are pushing towards the base. They're not going to crack open the Nexus just yet. But Inhib in the bot lane, gonna fall. Mid lane tier 2, definitely falling. On cannot defend that. Gonna look to get push in the top side. And let's take a look at this fight again. Keeper's verdict was whirly birded up, but not going to be used, and that allows Peanut the ability to use that later in the fight. Zeka is just being an absolute menace, using the Spirit Rush to get so much damage down. He gets a reset on the charge, dashes over, and immediately Delight is in there. On the top half of the fight, you just see Peanut and Zeka tag teaming up well, utilizing the Ahri ult they stole to really just punish the opposition. No fear on Delight as he just headbutts straight into Elk as he's full channeling the bullet time. And yeah, HLE pick up a pretty dominant team fight for themselves as they just dismantle BLG on the Rift. Peanut looking to run down on, not going to overstep, realizing that's no man's land. True Shot Barrage will spot out 3 members of BLG by tagging them up. And yeah, the goal difference over time graph really does tell you 2 fights in the game immediately becomes very dominant. After them 2 fights, HLE sit with a 6k gold lead for themselves and are possibly looking for more here as the brush bait is going to come through here. On going to be isolated, but it's just a massive headbutt pulverize that Doran is the benefactor of. HLE continuing the chase as this the Starix is procced, but this Alistar is so goddamn strong. He's getting the knockups needed to secure the picks, and it's the cleanup crew of HLE destroying BLG in this game 1, as with 34 minutes on the clock, 2 fights and you're done. HLE take first blood in this series. Let's be honest, guys and girls, and whomever is watching. This is very telltale of how this series is going to shape up. Essentially, you've got one team, well, both teams not wanting to make the wrong misstep forward. You make that step, it's catastrophic, as both teams look to put a stranglehold on you and not give you any room to play, room to breathe in this series. And after game 1, we've already seen what Hanwha Life can do with a lead. Let's see how game 2 shapes up. With BLG staying on red, it looks like. Well, probably staying on. They've gone to blue. Never mind. What do I know? Anyway, Poppy not going to be allowed into game number 2, as it's immediately removed from the field of play. Aurora, Yone, and then maybe Skarner bans coming here through for HLE. It's whatever they realistically want to ban. Now, Knight, known for his Yone, probably won't be able to get it here. I expect that to be banned. Speaking of things that are known and not allowed into this game, Zeka's Silas taken away here. BLG forcing HLE to draft new. And the Renekton ban comes through. No one's getting to play that Crocodile this series. Doran really does not want to go into Bin's Renekton here. Last ban here for BLG. Ashe. There's a lot of options. Callisto, if they want to deny that from Viper. Jax. So that's a continual ban throughout this series. So clearly, Gigabins Jax isn't going to be allowed to be played here. Or allowed at all. It's not even Gigabins, it's Doran's. Doran was a menace on it in the G2 series. Absolutely removing any chance of winning. But yeah. Both teams stepping up onto the Rift for the second game. Vi going to be a ban. That means Yone is up and available. And immediately gets locked in. The response here from HLE. Ashe is up. You've got some options here. Kallista's up. There's many different picks. I think you have to go Ashe here. You deny the Kallista pick priority. And just get a strong ADC in the meta. Skarner's also up and available. That gets brought in here for HLE. And they're looking to continue maybe what they did in game 1. Except this time, Dinar comes through blind. It's now arguably probably the most safe blind pick, I think, as an option in the meta. It used to be Cassante. Before that, it used to be Gangplank. Now, I think it's Gnar. Top sides become a very much... Excuse me as I'm just going to lower the music. You wouldn't actually believe how loud it is. Anyway. Let's talk about this draft so far. First rotation of picks. Almost similar to game 1. Except this time Sejuani comes through for BLG. They're matching tank with tank. The Rumble into Gnar matchup, clearly both seem comfortable playing it. I don't think I'd expect any other difference. Ahri, this time coming through for Zeka into the Yone. I like the matchup overall for the Ahri. You can kind of deal with his overall pressure in the early game, so you can deny him farm. If you suffocate him out the matchup, realistically speaking, Yone can't reach his scaling points as quick as he'd like to, which could allow for the Skarner babysit, the Gnar to hit his before the Yone, and just be an outright split push menace. So, BLG, while they have strong team fighting here with the Equalizer and kind of pick potential more specifically, expect more so of a split pushing style. As the second rotation of bans hit, Ashe is going to be removed here. Kallista in response makes sense. Supports Rel, yeah, makes sense for that to be removed here. Do we see a change up here for BLG for their second rotation of bans? Xayah could be a ban that was removed by them last time. I probably expect a change up. The Ezreal, the safe pick, that realistically speaking Viper didn't have to exert too much pressure on to get the win. He just was able to free hit with the Mystic shots. So that being taken away does leave open Xayah. Kaiser, the other option. Jhin is there, though people have kind of shied away from that pick as the Lovers duo rounds out BLG's comp. It's a big combination there, as they've got a lot of good combinations, realistically speaking. Grand Entrance, Quickness, into Equalizer, Sejuani lockup, Fate Sealed, you name it. They can all burst you down here on BLG. Feather Storm on top of it as well with the Root Caller. Everyone knows what this BLG comp wants to do is find the picks and realistically just isolate off targets and burst them out. HLE, they built a bit more evasiveness, a strong front line to not allow BLG in. It's basically a brawl of who can get onto the back line quickest and most effective. In my opinion, Hanwha have a harder time to execute. BLG just need to weather the storm of the early game pressure. The Ahri's going to have control. The Gnar is going to have control. All you need to do is survive that. And you then get to play. Hanwha are at a disadvantage. BLG should win this game. Just based off the draft. But it comes down to execution. And realistically, the junglers. Can they get their lanes going? You're going to need some attention. Lane swaps probably not going to happen. I think if the lane swap's going to happen, it's going to be BLG trying to get away from the difficult matchup in the bot side. But realistically speaking, I don't think we should see one. Anyway, let's skip over women blowing. I didn't mean to go backwards. Why are there women blowing kisses? Vive la France. It's Quiana cosplay, and I think that's SKT Oriana. It's one of the SKT skins. Anyway, Delight's already taken a lot of damage. That's presumably from the early invade from HLE. They've got control of this bot side of the map. It's looking like a split push situation as BLG gonna be bullied out the top side. That's an interesting start by BLG. As the grand entrance is gonna tag up onto the Ahri. Nothing more. But yeah. 2 wards into the red side jungle. As Delight's gonna clear out one. The other one, I'm not sure if it was spotted. They're trying to show it on the minimap, but yeah, it's there. It was not spotted, so that ward's going to stay there. And when Skarner crosses over to clear his wolves, he will be spotted. So yeah, it wasn't spotted. That's interesting to note. And the lane swap has happened. It's HLE initiating it to get away from the Zyrakam. Peanut's actually losing out on this jungle matchup. All things considered, they're trying to force split map, but because Shun's actually able to secure his wolves, I'm pretty sure he also got... He didn't get his Gromp. He got blue though. So, realistically speaking, this is really favourable for Shun, who's going to get triple buff. BLG have a slight tempo advantage here. However, Bin, difficult situation with the wave crashing into his tower. 3 members of HLE up here, flashing to avoid the Skarner charge. He gets to stay alive, and it's at a cost of his flash though. BLG kind of content with that, because it means the Rumble still gets to farm and stay in lane for a little bit. It means that Doran is the ultimate loser. BLG's tempo continues to be aggressive. They've secured 2 plates in the bot lane. This is catastrophic for HLE. A 600 gold lead at this stage of the game. You've already got the steal away of the jungle camps. In fact, they don't even need to take blue. Realistically speaking, Peanut's going to expect it to be stolen. So he's going to be delayed from taking it. That's massive. BLG, this early game's just so strong. And now, I was saying how they needed to weather the early storm. They've done well. The Skarner gank failed due to flash. They've delayed the jungle clear massively. Like, just look at where Peanut is. He's not even going towards his blue side, because he thinks that the camps have been taken. Instead, they've just been left. That's massive. The blue was taken finally, though, by Chun, but yeah. Wolfcamp's still up. It means that the full clear is going to be late, and that's a level 1 Wolfcamp. Now, if you don't know this, camps scale up the more they're killed. So the fact that this camp hasn't been killed yet is massive for BLG. It means that HLE won't be able to secure it, as Skarner's going to charge in topside. Bin no longer has flash, and he's being run down. The overheat isn't going to be enough to keep him, well, kill him, as the scrap shield gets to come back online. It's another failed gank. This time, Peanut burns his flash, and Bin kind of gets to win out the trade. He doesn't have TP, so that's his ultimate loss, so he can't really come back to lane. As bot side, a massive headbutt pull is going to come through here. But keep your eyes on BLG. The response can come through as top side. Mega Gnar is going to be used. The overheat from the Rumble as the Gnar times out. It's first blood over to BLG. It's HLE. They've misplayed and mismanaged this early game. That gold lead is massive. It's already a 1.6k. And we're only 6 minutes into the game. It's massive. I was already saying, as the equalizers drop, the Gnar gonna be ran down here, and Bin gets his revenge with another gank. You give HLE 2 ganks top, BLG respond in kind. This time they make him pay. HLE, Bin, more specifically, punishing Doran. I said at the start of this series, it's going to come down to this top lane matchup. The focus I wanted to put in the predictions was Bin and Doran. As bot side, the potential fight's going to come through here. Desire Khan look at the team fight. Root Caller comes through as Delight has to run away. There was a few summoners burnt there. More specifically, Elk's flash is gone. But at the cost of all 3 Void Grubs. As BLG continue to apply pressure into this series. Hex Flash is going to be channeled. Delight, is he on? Was he seen? I don't think he was, but he will be spotted now. This game is so interesting because at the start of it, it's just been pandemonium. The snowball is building up. We're already starting to see what these teams can do in game 1 with 2 fights. This game is a little bit more LPL style, the craziness. We got a Korean game, we're now getting an LPL one. BLG able to push the tempo as a whole this game, and when a team pushes the tempo and they scale better, you know it's going to be a pretty one-sided snowball. Now, the only place we've not really put any attention to is this mid lane, which is currently being shown. And it's because there's not really been any action there. The junglers have been avoiding it because they've been playing for sides. More specifically top lane, where the Rumble Gnar matchup has kind of been the strong point of both teams. Get one of them ahead and they're going to win you the game. That's the easy way to word it. Now we're starting to see a bit of pressure towards mid as On and Shun hiding in the winds, looking for a pick for a potential overstep. Instead, they're just going to walk in, secure vision in this bottom side. Bush as Viper, grand entrance. There goes the Glacial Prism. Gets the cleanse out from the ADC. And HLE can't overstep. This should be Drake secured for BLG without really investing too much. Now, obviously, we saw pandemonium to start this game off. The game, the last 3 minutes, has kind of slowed down. Both teams, well, BLG wanting to kind of sustain the momentum, keep their lead, realize they don't need to over-aggress. They're securing objectives without getting kills, as they're getting vital summoners out. HLE not willing to give BLG more and more of a snowball, and they're just trying to rewrite the ship. That's the easy way to word it. The gold lead has grown to 2k because BLG have just been able to secure the objectives, with 40 seconds now until the second round of Void Grubs. I expect to see the supports revving up. More specifically, we're already seeing On up here. I'm just looking at the minimap. Bot lanes are switching up to the top side of the map. And we are probably going to get a Barmy for the Grubbies. Vision Ward's going to be littered into the river. BLG haven't got control just yet, as HLE actually have got some deep vision of their own into this area. Keep your eye on Peanut. He has got the ulti. The Scanner can pick off a target if he wants to. He's looking to get in. The engage comes through. The headbutt, the pull is gonna be utilized, but Peanut, he's isolated. The charm, the quickness does so much, as that is a massive kill. As down goes the Kaiser. HLE's damage is gone, and bye bye Peanut. You are deleted by night. BLG win the fight around the Grubs, and they get them to boot. A 6 Void Grub game for the LPL first seed. This is what they wanted in game 1. They wanted to push the tempo, force HLE to make mistakes. And yeah, HLE are giving it to them. We watch this play again. HLE just overstep. They try to get the pick onto On, but the headbutt pull's gone, the aftershock's gone, and we go back to live, and the root caller's finding Doran. So much of this health bar is being deleted. The flame spitter doing work on top of it. Bin could be cheeky and drop the equalizer if he had it. Deny the back. Isn't able to do so. Instead, this should be a lot of tower damage down. No TP left on the Gnar. BLG don't want to overstep, realizing the Skarner is in position to go for a counterplay. But yeah, the gold lead very much in BLG's hands. The gold's gone up to 3k now. It's every 3 minutes the gold lead goes up by 1 grand. And HLE, they've lost control of this game. BLG's scaling factor is just so hard to match right now. First items are coming online. Balk for Knight Yone is massive. He can stick onto you and heal up as he does so. Strikebreaker is typically what we've seen paired alongside this item as a secondary, so that you have more sticking power. Into the Kaiser, I would like that. However, I think more resistance is needed, so maybe Starax if you want to go for that. That would provide this Yone a little bit more ability to deal with what HLE offer. Now, we haven't really discussed too much since the early game what Elk and Viper have been doing, but both have been farming. One better than the other, as Elk sits with a 20 CS lead over his counterpart as the possible fight begins here. Delight going to be caught out as the engage comes through. The fate sealed finds Zeka, and the pick comes through, make it a double for Knight. As BLG, they're denying access to the river for HLE, as the second Drake of the game should go over to BLG. This game, it's getting further and further out of the LCK first seed sands. BLG just pushing the tempo. They're stronger at this stage of the game. First items aren't really fully complete until now. And yeah, that really tells you something. Blue, gold leads across the board. It's going to grow even more once this tower falls. Whoever drew the question mark. Yeah. That really tells you how this game's gone. It's a question mark game from HLE because, to be honest, this isn't the HLE we saw in Game 1. It's a lot more questionable. A lot more mistake-ridden. And BLG have been happily obliging with the punish, as Zeka is going to be ran down, the Spirit Rush is already going to be forced out. Will we see the engage? The Skarner shows himself, and Peanut isn't able to make a play. BLG are just punishing. It's so much better. They're not giving opportunities for counterplays. And outright, they're making their own play top. You try and dive Yone, who can Fate Seal to safety, as this could be a potential issue. Featherstorm's going to be used. TP also invested. The Root Caller keeps Peanut in place, but HLE make a winning play for once. They get the flash out, not the flash, the ulti and a TP out from BLG. The issue is, Harold's dropped mid, and it's not technically needed for the crash. Topside though, Rumble's going to be forced into a situation where he doesn't want to be. He's able to make the outplay. He flashes to safety. There's no Spirit Rush left. Zeka has to flash to get the kill secure. And the first kill of the game goes over to HLE. However, can the Ahri make it out? The Spirit Rush is up in 5 seconds. He won't be able to get it, I fear, as he's going to be... Never mind, he's got it back. What? That's a lie. Zeka makes it and play, gets punished, but Elk, he has no Featherstorm to killer instinct forward. Kaiser gonna get the kill, the shutdown. But can she escape? Into the base she goes. She's got to sacrifice, but the Rumble's alive. He's got to get the kill here. The burn down, the run down, the death. It's a beautiful death for Viper as he gets at least one, but it's at the cost of his own life and the tier 2 topside. So let's take a look at this. Doran Mega's out. He's got Knight TPing in, so he knows he can force the play. What he doesn't realise is the equalizer is perfectly timed. It's a good ult from Bin, who gets to stay alive, doesn't overheat. The flash to force at least a summon a trade. The Scrap Shield provides a little bit more time, but Knight or Zeka doesn't have ulti and is tagged by the Fate Shield. Yone's on top of you. You can't really outrun it until it's too late. A lovely Q3, and it's a secure for Knight as he just gets the outplay. Now, BLG, that gold lead, we were saying every 3 minutes it gets bigger by 1 grand. Right now it's pretty much 6k. It's closing in on 7. And yeah, let's be honest, HLE are forced to make plays here that are going to be losing. On goes in, trying to force the play. The equalizer's dropped down. Delight is burning. But look at how much damage is being done to BLG. It's absolutely nothing as Doran's isolated and killed off. HLE, it's the same 2 that fall trying to enter into the river. 25 seconds until soul point. It doesn't really matter. This game's well and truly over. Don't know why I'm trying to give hope to HLE. BLG, they get a free tier 2 in bot lane. They don't really need to care. I don't really need to care. Can we get a replay of the fight and I'll break it down as simple dominance? Actually, it might not be simple dominance. On could be forced to sacrifice. TP comes in. It's 4 members of HLE trying to make a play. Elk's going to be jumped on. The healing, though, will not be able to keep him alive. It's a 1-for-1 trade, though, as both ADCs are down. Sedge looking to force onto the light as the Yone goes in. It's a lot of damage, but the round gets the shut down. Shun should be next to fall as the Skarner's trying to kill off this Rumble. Bin gonna be ran down here. And HLE, they could have found a turnaround. It's a load of shutdowns over to the LCK squad. And that gold lead that was once so massive has shrunk so much. HLE, they're sure getting objective bounties, but guess what? They're getting gold back and winning fights. As simply put, BLG are caught napping. The killer instinct in forces Elk into a difficult situation, and while Bid is killing off Viper, Knight's doing absolutely nothing. He's stopped as basically it's just Zeka running amok alongside Doran. Peanut then decides to go in looking for more. The Spirit Rush is available for the Ahri, but BLG, they've caught HLE napping. The Baron's going to be secured. HLE, what? They have no vision on the map. And you can tell, BLG punish, take a Baron. So that gold lead that was shrinking, it's growing again. BLG back on the front foot after giving over to Drake. But I'm pretty sure they're content with that. Second item online for the Kaiser now. And HLE are already into the base. Yone could fall here. The killer instinct, the fate sealed though, will be his fate killed where he stands. It's a kill over to Viper, who is starting to get a bit more scary. 3-0, but Zeka's already burning down. The equalizer put onto his head. BLG, a gold lead from this Baron, well, the gold gain from this Baron is minute, but they've cracked open one tier 3 tower. Could get a bit more. Plenty of time on this Baron to push. 1:40 left of the buff. And just need to take stock of how these items are. Riftmaker online for Bin gives him that extra sustain. You've got 2 items complete on this Sire. Namori Quick Blades and Essence Reaver. So she's going to be fine to pump out a lot of crit damage. I would tell you what Knight has, but I'm pretty sure it's Bork as well as Starax. It's not. It's Strikebreaker. It's the other one. So he's got a lot of sticking power onto this Ahri if he gets onto her. Other side of the rift, you got Rageblade Static for Viper, who is still a threat. He can pump out a lot of damage with those 2 items alone. But whether or not BLG allowed to fight is a different story, because they've been non-stop diving onto these carries. Every chance they get, every option that's granted to them, they take it. And HLE's response has been minimalistic. They've tried to turn it around, but BLG have acted and executed better in the long run. The slow suffocation of the Baron is being implemented here with 10 seconds to go, but the headbutt pulverized combination comes through here and Delight's isolating himself. The equalizer's dropped to force Viper away. The root collar is massive as fate sealed. It's a lot invested to kill off Doran, but it will not matter. On falls and BLG, are looking to crack the base. They've already got the top laner, and let's be honest, Delight has to back away. They get a bit of damage down onto the inhib, but BLG get what they wanted. They get a lot of pressure down, and while it's not the outright biggest fight win, it's certainly a fight win. LDR completed for Elk, who did actually burn his flash in this fight, so we watch it again. It's a good headbutt pulse combo by Delight. Fedit Storm comes through, and it's a flash out from Elk, fearing the Gnar ult. And while the Gnar goes in, he doesn't go out, except back to the fountain. And now we start another dance for an objective. BLG don't need to go for this. They've got mid lane push, so that's going to be hitting into the inhib. Keep your eyes. Where is Delight? The primary engage, no flash. So he's going to have to stand around with his team. BLG just starting to take the Drake in the face. Delight goes in, but Doran's health bar is already deleted. The smite comes through. BLG secure soul point. And where do we go from here? Knight gets charmed in his face and is rooted where he stands. A massive Scanner ult's going to pull back too. The Gnar ult comes through, but Shun's still alive. Killer Instinct into backline. And that's just a split fight that's still turning out BLG favoured. Kaiser on the run, but she can't run far as Elk and On chase her down. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, it's going to be Knight pushing into the base. That's going to be the secure with the Gleaming Quill as On gets that one. Everyone on HLE is down, bar Delight. But this is not a delightful situation as BLG tie up the series 1-1. Cool, calm, and collected. A dominant performance by BLG to even us up 1-1 here. And let's be honest. This is some real good coffee. Needs to be said. We've got 2 more games of this to go through. And, you know, clearly I'm enjoying it. Because we're doing all 4 tonight. So, Game 3. How do the drafts change? Clearly, BLG learnt from Game 1, made the changes necessary to take the win in Game 2. HLE returned to the blue side. Callista Aurora removed from the field. BLG banned last time the Yone when they were on red side. HLE removed the Skarner as well as, I forget what the other one was. But clearly they don't want to allow it. Skarner's gone. Will we see a change up here? Ari has been prevalent through BLG's comps. Well, from HLE side. Yone's removed here. Silas is still probably first pickable. Unless BLG change up the formula here for game number 3. How do these teams change up? The Vi this time is removed. BLG not going to be able to get that one. Silas still is an option. It's still first pickable, in my opinion, for HLE. The Ezreal this time has been removed, so there isn't that same avenue of safety. So, no safe ADC means Jax gets locked in. The initial pick of the Silas goes through this time to BLG, as well as the Ashe. In my opinion, HLE have lost the draft here already. the Silas has so much power and potential ult steals. HLE won game 1 off of this guy. Getting onto Elk was the name of the game. The fact that you've banned the Vi and not taken the Silas means that you're going to have a harder time of getting onto him. Unless you go for something like a Lissandra. But even then, you've just locked in the Ari. Rakan is an option. I mean, you can go for your jungler here. The Sejuani's up. Get something to proc them permafrost. That would probably be the best bet here. However, Nocturne gonna come through here. HLE's draft is confusing me because you haven't really got that much good options here. You've just given a Paranoia over to the Silas as well, so he has his own cross map. In my opinion, this is just a poor draft from HLE right now. I'm already critiquing it by looking at it. BLG now get choice of top laners free and easy to kind of round out their first phase. Na's going to come through here. Makes a lot of sense to me because Na into Jax. You can play the range, you can hop away from Jax as he tries to jump on you. You just play range. Jax has a hard time into Na. And while the counter strike does do work, you still can just play around him. So, ban phase 2, Electric Boogaloo begins. Kaiser's removed off the board here by BLG. I expect maybe Desire to get taken away here as well, so that there's no safe option for HLE. You've already kind of dissuaded them from going for anything really else. I think it will make sense. Twitch gets removed here. Viper's not going to be able to get that one. It's actually a good removal overall. A lot of giggles on the faces of the players here, realizing the power of that one. But how did BLG respond? I like the Braum here. It's a lot of peel from the Jax, Ari, and Nocturne. You just put the shield up, jump back to your carry, safeguarding them. Glacial Fissure, and there's no real overall denial. The issue is, BLG don't go for that, and you don't talk about hovers. Instead, they get the Rakan, so they're gonna split up the potential lovers duo. So that actually makes a bit more sense. You get the better of the two here. And I mean, that does force HLE to kind of go all in with their ADC. A full hyper carry Zeri. We haven't seen any really in the bot lane at this tournament. They've mainly been played mid. And the fact that this one's going to be forced to go bot side is going to be a bit of a difficult situation, paired alongside this time the Rel that wasn't banned out for once. In my opinion, HLE are going to have a hard time playing into this BLG draft. Just thinking about the potential combinations. I mean, the second phase round of ults isn't the best for the Silas, but the ults that he has got access to, Grandmaster's Might, the extra resistances that provides, the extra damage it also provides. You've got the Spirit Rush. We've already seen what Zeka can do with the Spirit Rushes and how he can just dodge and dash around, putting down damage in teamfights. But the biggest, in my opinion, ulti that has been given over to this Silas, knowing you're going into a Silas, is the Paranoia. The ability to turn the lights off, deny TPs into a fight, the long range engage onto the carry. You've basically made it a living hell for Viper to stay alive in the fights, to avoid the Silas, who's just going to be immediately on top of you. And alongside a Rakan as well, there's no escape. Which is why I think that this is a misdraft from HLE. But this is just my opinions. I've not actually watched this game. And granted, this has already happened. We're going to get on to the ref for game number 3. And let's see how these two teams match up. Lane swap. I immediately think HLE need to lane swap early. Ashe Rakan. Yeah, I don't really want to be going into them head first. Early levels. Zeri specifically will struggle as BLG yet again going for this early invade into the opposition jungle. Abscond Abduct is an option here. If Knight chooses to go for it, Delight is playing very aggressive. He gets it, lands it, the damage is down, the crash out from the Rel keeps him safe. But BLG ascertain what they want. They force HLE out from their jungle. Now, Shun could be in a bit of a difficult situation. Not going to get caught out. And the wraparound comes through. It's 4v5. As Na's gone topside, Abscond Abduct misses Doran. If that landed, BLG possibly could have got first blood. All while that's happening, we're already starting to see the lane swap come through from BLG. They're realizing HLE wanted to get a lane swap for themselves. This should actually force Doran to TP bot side. But immediate early aggression flash trade comes out from the BLG support and ADC of HLE. And yeah, this is the issue for HLE's bot lane. They just get pressured away from the wave so easily by an Ashe. The threaded volleys just do so much work. The slows means that the more auto attack she lands onto you. And it basically is so hard for Viper to play it, especially now that he's flashless. So level 2s come online for the bot laners of BLG. Yeah, HLE are in this difficult situation. It's interesting to note, Hawkshot level 2 for Elk means that he's able to spot basically the start of this Nocturne. So the pathing's going to be well known that he's gone to the bot side of a rift right now. And realistically speaking, it will be matched as, yeah, this is the issue of the Jax matchup. You just saw it there. As soon as the Jax jumps forward and tries to counter-strike you, you just hop away and deny his potential damage. It's a pretty easy combination to land. And HLE are going to have a struggle bus, to be honest, to get anything done in this game. Now, the only solace really early for them is the mid lane. Ahri will have so much control over this Silas, as just the constant harass onto him will make it so that Knight can't really farm safely. And we're already starting to see a bit of a CS lead growing in that lane. Meanwhile, bot side, I forgot to note, TP was burnt out here by Doran. So, realistically speaking, BLG will have a better contest of the grubs unless Doran switches up. So what I'm probably expecting in a minute's time, Zeka to base go bot side, and then Jax to path to mid lane and farm mid against Silas, because that's still a decent matchup for both. I think the Silas probably would be a bit better or more happy about that. But to be honest, I think that would be the smarter play here for HLE, to kind of keep themselves able to contest these grubs. That being said, Delight is just bullying out on. Now, while that actually hasn't happened, what we are going to see though is a bit of a play onto Viper, who's forced back. But Delight's found a flank angle. Keep your eye on Shun though, he is around. The potential play can happen. The grand entrance is going to stop the potential dive onto him. The crash down only going to be used onto the Rakan, but to keep your eyes on Shun. He gets in, gets the flash out from Delight, and continuation of a trade from the BLG jungler just forces Peanut back. A lot of damage down put onto HLE. should mean that in 40 seconds, Grubbies go over to the LPL first seed. I'm actually interested. Does Doran's TP come up before Grubs? 20 seconds on that. No, 70 seconds on TP. I'm surprised we didn't see the lane swap out from HLE. They're just expecting to win outright. Okay, there we go. So this is the interesting thing. Doran is just pathing up. Grand entrance lands. He just realised he can't TP, so he's just going to walk into mid lane. And this does give Bin some free time to push in the bot lane, which in my opinion is worth. He has TP. The issue for HLE is they haven't sent anyone bot. Bin's late to the tower, and to be honest, essentially what's happened here is HLE gave up a bit of pressure in the bot lane to secure 3 Void Grubs. So in actuality, it's worthwhile for them. They haven't had to expend too much to get it, because I don't know, because I can't see right now because Bin's big Jack's forehead is on the tower. Pretty sure it says 4, so realistically speaking, the trade's even. It's a tower plate and a Drake over for 3 Void Grubs, which is essentially late game power, because you get the Void Mites if you get one more. So you're realistically trading 300 gold for more gold later. So that overall is worthwhile in that regard, I guess, for HLE. The issue is Bin has now seeded a 400 gold, well, not Bin. Doran seeded a 400 gold lead as On's taking a lot of damage, and the engage comes through. The paranoia gets onto the Ashe. The crash down gonna be enough as 2 kills over to HLE. A flick of a switch. The paranoia and Spirit Rush combination just delete the health bars of the HLE BLG bot lane. Now, the play doesn't come without a cost. A bit of plating over tonight, but hopefully we get a replay of the actual dive. Now comes through to avoid the counter strike. Viper's path down bot. Just looking, Elk's staying topside, and we get a replay of the fight. So yeah, it's just really Delight and On just battling one another. On takes a lot of damage. The Grand Entrance comes through, and once that's gone, there's no peel for the Ashe, who's just immediately deleted by an Electrocute proc from the Ahri. Spirit Rush is used as Viper actually gets the kill. And HLE, they're on the board first this series, and are just going to be able to continue to probably push the tempo through their bot lane. Now, as a whole, 3 Void Grubs go over to them. Minute 20 until the next set of Grubs. And 3 minutes until the second Drake of the game. Now, we didn't talk about first Drake, it was an Ocean Drake, that's fine. Cloud Drake for number 2 is massive. It means that you're getting more than likely a better soul. Obviously, Infernal, Mountain, Hex Soul. The more particular Drake souls you want. The issue is, there's still the issue of a Chemtech soul, which is never good. No one likes Chem soul. It is not as good as what it once was. And we get a pause. Yay. And we've also got shouting, so I apologize if you can hear that. So, I'm going to take a quick drink. Hopefully it's a quick pause. But yeah, I'm going to mute up for a sec. Okay, we're back onto the Rift, and already 10 minutes have elapsed on the game clock. A minute 200 gold lead for HLE this game. It's interesting to note that, because at this point in the game, in game number 2, BLG had just ballooned it. So this game is realistically a more HLE-esque game, where they're playing a bit more safe, more slow, calculated, and the potential play could happen here. As the second round of grubs spawn, BLG group up as 4. Bin's already pathing up here. He's quicker to the punch than Doran. Both do have TP, but 2 grubs are secured here by BLG. They're not able to get a 3-for-3 trade. It's going to be 4-for-2, which always favors HLE because that's the extra Void Might. That potential tower diving buddy. That extra damage onto a tower that you know and love. It's always good to see them in the game. And definitely haven't broken League of Legends in any way, shape or form. This should probably lead to the gold lead slowly but surely growing in HLE's favour if they're able to play their lanes effectively. Expect basically matching first items for the ADC Static Shiv, as first items are already online for the mid laners, Malignants and the Proto Belt. Going to allow for extra aggression from either side as they use their ultis and basically dive into the opposition. BLG looking to wedge their bets here. Minute 45 now till Herald. 3 seconds until the second Drake of the game. Just looking at positioning here. Peanut pathing towards this bot side. BLG probably not going to contest this second Drake. Content to kind of just allow it to go over, I feel, is on. Going to be caught a little bit unawares in the brush, but hey, doesn't need to overstep. Second Drake of the game is on the table, and with the fact that Shun's just based, Trinity Force online. A little late to the play overall, so I don't expect a contest onto this dragon. Instead, BLG, they're just gonna poke their heads in here, or expect on to at least. Realise the Drake's been taken, and BLG are now even in Drakes. We've got a Mountain Soul on our hands. That's actually quite nice for either team to get. You think about it this way, the extra resistances to survive the initial burst that either team want to go for. Realistically speaking, that's more beneficial to BLG because you can just deny the Zeri burst in ultimate, the paranoia combinations. You just have so much extra survivability that it's really hard to deal with. Good dodging there by Knight to avoid the charm. But yeah, Static Shiv online for this Zeri. First item complete before the opposition's bot side. So that's going all in. Gets the damage down. As Zeka below 50% means he can't stay up. Forced to probably back. But BLG, late to the punch for the Herald, aren't going to be able to secure that for themselves. Instead have to give that one over. And HLE happily will take that. Lane economy snapshot basically tells the tale of the story. Top laners have kind of been left in isolation. Dinar always has advantage in that matchup, so always a little lead there. Zeri, now with the Static Shiv, going to be able to easily clear the wave, as well as the fact she's got the extra kill over her lane opponent. it basically is a hard matchup for Elk to kind of play for a bit until he gets his own static. But he's gone Kraken Slayer, which is actually not that surprising. Obviously, the extra procs with the Q. Tower trade probably going to come through here. Herald was dropped on the bot side. Should result in first tower to HLE. They will get that. And maybe a bit more with the tier 2. Potentially getting the second crash into. The enchanted crystal arrow will land. The dive comes through here. And BLG catch out Delight. It's going to be a continuation as the Cyclone's going to be utilized. But the fear is too much. Peanut is isolated. But here comes Viper. Looking to free fire in. He's getting the damage down. As Knight is just killed off by the Jax. The Gnar could ulti here, but he's unable to do so as he's now just stunned up. But it's a double kill over to Doran. But in the end, BLG still win the fight outright as they secure 3. Actually, it's 4 because they killed On to start it off. Sorry, Delight started off. Let's take a look at a replay. Hi, Elk. Mr. Elk shoots big arrow and tags onto Delight, hidden by the veils of the wall, and then the dive combo come through the Cyclone. Spirit rushing forward, Silas just does so much work. Nocturne shows up with the paranoia, but it's a great quickness to peel for Shun. Then it's just Knight just doing work in the backline. The extra spirit rushes provide a little bit of extra time, but Doran's able to flash and jump onto him to secure the trade. Counter-strike through does a lot of work, allowing for the Grandmaster's might to secure another kill for the Jax. And while overall the fight is massive for BLG, HLE still have some form of control in this game, because immediately this Jax, if you look at it, it is deadly. We've talked about how BLG were banning it in game 1 and 2, as the arrow will land. Long range arrow does so much work. The abscond abduct. Jax is going to be ran down. The leap strike to safety as Delight provides some safe escape routes will mean that Doran gets out alive unless the chase down from BLG continues. Keep your eye on Shun as he's realistically the only one with some peel. Delight's gonna just stop any form of aggro onto him. And in the end, it will be no kill over to BLG. So, as we get to the latter stages of the game, or the mid game, Baron starts to become a wary threat in 2 minutes. Drake 2 for one of these two teams is also ready and available, and probably we'll see a fight here. TP going to be used here as Zeka joins up with the team. Shun's already onto the objective, and now BLG looking to contest. Ash free firing in, and Delight is taking a lot of damage. Watch for the crash down. The combination of ults from HLE is available. The enchanted crystal arrow will land, and that's going to be almost certainly a dead Doran. The absconder duct will secure the kill as a re-engage comes through, as On is still available to go in, but it's Delight that's falling, and it's a double kill as the Zeri just gets ran down by the spirit rushing Knight. I think every time we've seen him, Knight is stealing away the Ahri ulti and utilizing it to perfection. BLG, they get a massive teamfight win, deny the entry into the river from HLE, which is allowing them to get themselves the second Drake for themselves overall. But the potential play could come through here, as that's going to be Knight isolated. Zeka looking for the kill, but here's Mr. Nocturne. The fear will do work. The burn down from Leandries won't be enough. That's a lovely magic shield to shut down Knight. Cosmic Drive, though, picked up by the Silas he needed to back earlier, realistically speaking. But yeah, let's take a look at this fight. Simply put, it's just BLG chipping away at the health bars. Doran isolates himself, leap strikes into the clump of members, and he's unable to get away because he's just used his leap strike. Immediate peel on Delight tried to save his top laner, but it isn't enough, and then yeah, it's easy for Knight to just chase down the Zeri when she hasn't got a wall to jump over. A simple team fight that ends in victory for BLG as they take the kill lead, they get themselves a gold lead on top of it, and now HLE on the back foot. We've talked about how a Silas in game 1 with a lead does so much work here as on looking to get onto Viper. Won't come to fruition, but essentially we saw what a Silas with an advantage can do. We've seen what a Silas that can scale can do. Knight this time is in a better situation than what Zeka was in game number 1. And so the paranoia's coming through here. Immediately Elk's going to be deleted. The Crashdown's going to find one, but the Cyclone combination from the Wukong gets onto the Zeri. It's the ADCs being traded. The paranoia steal gets Zeka isolated. It's a shutdown for Bin and BLG. They turn a deadly situation around. Who's collapsing on who is the name of the game, and BLG do it better. Baron now on the table. The dance is going to get more and more deadly. We watch this mid lane flurry again. Elk's on vision. Paranoia, Spirit Rush. He falls prey to the combination. But just keep your eyes on Shun. Flashes alongside on to get onto the Zeri, not giving Viper any room to teamfight. Then it's just a chase down. The Paranoia gets onto Zeka, Bin's alongside him, and it's just an easy cleanup of a teamfight for BLG. "23 minutes on the clock, and we sit with a 3k gold lead for the LPL squad as they've finally kind of gotten control of this game in realistically 2 desperation team fights. Granted, the river fight was more controlled, and that was a bit more of a out and out just melee. It is working out for them. Finally putting vision control down onto this top side of the map, making it harder for this Nocturne to find picks. And speaking of picks, Doran just exchanges places with Shun and On. That's an interesting emote from the just on its side crying. Who's that for the doggo? Anyway, Drake in 30 seconds, soul point if BLG can get it. And looking at their Drakes actually right now, Ocean and Mountain Drake, 2 very much resistance based Drakes, gonna provide them a lot more safety to step forward. Definitely the extra sustain that they provide. Granted, it's not the same as what it used to be, and when Ocean was realistically the out and out most powerful, that's kind of evened up now. Bin starts to charge his Narbar. I was starting to think, has he megaed out already? But no. Building up the bar. We'll have that if a potential fight begins. TP going to be invested here. That's going to be Doran joining up with the team. Narbar slowly but surely building up. Charm's gonna land, and Shun takes a brunt of it. Jumping forward goes the counter strike. The enchanted crystal arrow lands. They get onto the Ari. The burst is massive as Knight finds the first kill of the fight. The second comes through as Delight is slain. And now it comes down to a miracle steal if Peanut wants it. He will not go for it though. And Soul Point is secured by BLG. Immediately with them 2 picks, they're turning to the Baron. And they're gonna try and force HLE to fight them. The ward will spot their starting of the objective. Shun is in the area, so is Peanut. Smites at the ready. Paranoia is a possibility. Zeri goes in, the crashing down. The ulti isn't enough because she's just being forced out the pit immediately. Doran does a lot of work to dissuade BLG from continuing the Baron take, and in the end it works well for them. They don't over-invest to do so. Only the summoner's really out from the Jax, but that's worthwhile as an objective bounty is claimed by HLE to round that one out. So let's take a look at the fight. Never mind, we're already starting to see a pick as that's going to be the ulti tagging on to Peanut, just negates it. Okay, we don't get a team fight. Screw it. We just get to pretend we saw it. But basically, it's a really well aimed arrow from Elk. It tags Knight or whomever is the trailing member. Knight did have 1 extra charge as a Spirit Rush, which he could have probably evaded the ulti with if he used it, well, sorry, Zeka. I keep thinking Zeka and Knight are on the opposite sides. Don't know why. I keep mixing up the teams. Oh well. Let's just take stock of everything. Because what has that fight that we didn't get the replay of done for the game? Well, 3 items complete in the top lane, Wit's End, last completed for Bin, is basically able to side lane into Knight if he wants to, and can pretty much just bully the Jax overall throughout the majority of the game. Now HLE are in this difficult situation where they're losing control of the map, while realistically speaking not really gaining too much. The gold lead is still 3k and Zeka could be caught here to charm through. Shun's not going to overstep, realizing he could immediately be jumped on by a rel. Thinks better of it. So, HLE start to wrestle back control of the river. Shun forced back, so he's not able to stay around. Ward's going to be cleared out as On just trying to be a nuisance. Doesn't overstay and just backs away. Probably will get a ward into the pit if he wanted to. Knows that there's a zombie ward there. And yeah, BLG just wrestling control back of the river. And with a minute 30 left until this next Drake, HLE probably have to be wary of a Baron sneak. The good thing for them is, well, they did have a ward in the back of the pit. They have got a blue trinket if needed to spot it out, but I dare say they need to just get a ward down. They've got nothing just yet, as their vision's been cleared out really. Another zombie ward's been put back in place, so they will have Baron vision for if BLG try to take it while they go for the Drake. That being said, BLG looking to realistically contest the Drake themselves, and yeah, Meganar's going to time out 30 seconds until that one, well, becomes an issue. But yeah, TP is coming through, Jun's joining up with the team as well. And the Barmy in the river can begin. The Wukong stepping forward first, looking, catching out Zeka immediately, spirit rushing, realizing he's in potential danger. And already BLG have got an important ult out of the equation. Keep your eyes on Knight. Stolen away the Ahri ulti. And the crashdown comes through. They're turning onto Nana. Paranoia is massive, but the hop skip to safety keeps Bin alive. That's a lot invested by HLE. They need to get this Drake, but I'm pretty sure they won't. All the ults still remain on BLG, and they're looking to fight the Cyclone through. Doran target first. The Cyclone is massive as the smite secure isn't enough to get it. It's in fact a Zeri, and now Knight gets to thrive. The Ahri still available, absconding, abducting, deleting the health bars, chasing down members. Down falls Zarel, looking for the Nocturne. The absconder duck doesn't hit this time, but it's not needed. The Kingslayer takes down the Dustblade, and Nocturne falls, meaning Baron probably the prize for HLE, as 5 alive should spell demise for the LCK first seed, who overplayed their hand trying to get the pick onto Bin, but in the end they end up losing out. And while they stop the soul, they're still losing a considerable amount. With the mid lane tier 2 falling, all outers should be deleted. Let's take a look at the fight. And the idea is smart. Turn onto the Mininar, crash down, all comes through. The CC chain though isn't perfect, as Bin's given an opportunity to jump. Good movement there by On to give him a hop out. And yeah, like it or not, BLG can then turn and use their ultis. Delight tries to peel to not allow Knight in, and that could have been more catastrophic if he did. But yeah, speaking of catastrophic, Ashar are gonna be buffered. Are we gonna get a full fight replay? I highly doubt it. These two teams are just jockeying for so much position on this map, so any opportunity to fight, they will take it. Baron up for another minute 50 seconds. And this tier 2 in the top side of the map, the target for BLG. Mid lane, Bin's already pushing in to the Jax. And yeah, minions aren't going to hit the tower just yet. Doran's doing a good job to kill off the wave. But top side, the tier 2 is going to be hit up by the canyon. And that's going to do a lot of work. Gonna need to clear it out. They do well here, HLE, to stop it. However, the potential of a play can happen. Charm's gonna land, and it's just little tickles of damage onto BLG, but HLE keeping them at bay. The issue is Bin's about to mega out, and they can't stay around this tower. The tier 2 will fall. And just looking at the rest of the map, the bot wave is primed for BLG if they want to go towards it. Paranoia is available, will be used, as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow is massive. It does a lot of chip damage, but that was actually the BLG stolen Paranoia. Trying to put pressure down, trying to force out summoners. They won't be able to do so. Instead, it's going to be a summoners more than likely going to be gained here. It's not, never mind. That is just Elk deleted by a ward. Like it or not, he gets killed off because he's last to leave. And BLG, without their ADC for 40 seconds, this Drake becomes a little bit harder to secure vision around. The good thing for them is On is getting deep vision to allow for potential TP flanks from Knight and Bin, but is it going to be needed? Bin's going to secure pushing the bot side. The Baron's worn off. Won't be able to score the tier 2. And in the end, this is actually quite, I would say, late recalls from the jungler and the ADC for this potential Drake, but it's in time. They can get out into the map to respond to it. But can they secure vision? That is a different story. On is already in. He's got so much deep vision down. TP is going to come through here. It's going to be Knight joining up with him. BLG. They've got control here. It's Peanut. Could have been caught out there. I thought the potential play, in fact, he could be caught here. Abscond of Duck gets onto this Nocturne. He's going to be deleted from where he stands. The Starix Gauge is procced and the engage comes through here as BLG are hunting down the jungler. They're able to get it as Bin goes unstoppable, but the continual play could be the issue. That's going to be GA popped, and now the fight continues. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands onto the rail, but it's not the prime target. The Cyclone does work and Bin is firing off. It's a massive fight win for BLG as they secure 4, but keep your eyes on Doran. He could make the outplay. He goes into status. The counter-strike isn't enough to stop the Silas, and the ace for BLG comes through. With 30 seconds on these death timers, that one fight is enough to win the game. If BLG weren't feeling confident, they'd gone straight to the Drake and secured Soul. They're feeling it this series and are immediately going in. The Paranoia Steal is enough to just get another kill, and BLG go to 2-1. It feels like we're not going to get an impactful objective. As much as these two teams fight for it, they're not really that impactful, let's be honest. Game 4. How do we see these drafts changing? Is the name of the game. Hanwha are on blue. BLG on red. Callista, Aurora banned. Silas still is a priority pick. It's been the telltale of this series. Win if you get it. Scanner removed here. Yone probably to come alongside it by BLG. We're down to Ashe being removed. The Enchanted Crystal Arrows providing so much impact in that last game that no, it doesn't get allowed into the pick phase. BLG, do they ban the Silas here? I think it makes so much sense to remove it. It's been pivotal to both teams' success. I think it needs to go. It's in fact the Sejuani being taken away this time. BLG basically forcing HLE to pick the Silas. Otherwise, Knight's going to run amok again. They do so. Ahri is the other option. BLG can get that on 3 if they want to. Or they can just lock in their jungler right now. Primary engage. Honestly, there's some good options. Nocturne's available. Jax is still there to take away. Combine it with a Rakan. What more can you ask for? You've got knock up, setup, and denial for the Silas. Poppy comes through. Bit of a counter. I like it. The Gnar and Rumble, the other options left available. The things that these two teams have been kind of defaulting to. The Gnar, the safest blind pick in the world, will come through, even though it's not a buying pick. And it only makes sense here if the Ahri gets locked in here. Or the Xayah. That's the other option. Get the Lovers Duo, confirm your bot lane, which is a bit surprising. I would expect the Ahri more than anything here. Okay, so this is a bit of a weird one to me. So the draft has changed drastically between the two games. There's been basically the blind pick Ari coming through to just match up to the Sylas. Not blind pick, the safe pick of the Ari to match the Sylas. Teams are realizing that's not a good option into it. Ezreal's removed, so there's safety gone from the Rift. Is Xayah worth picking here for HLE? You've got the Twitch technically available unless BLG ban it, like they did in game number 3. Wukong's gone. No more Shun spinning around to success. That is removed. The Xayah this time could be taken away. No Feather Storms, no safety for HLE, which means Twitch is available. Honestly, Twitch wouldn't be too bad with the protection it would have from this Poppy and Gnar. But only time will tell. As Vi gets removed, I think that tells you Twitch is probably coming, because that instant denial of Twitch mobility to just free firing in and down targets is gone. BLG throw down the gauntlet. Kindred for Shun in game number 4 of a do and die series. It is massive. Going into this comp is insane though. It's going to be quite hard to pick up the kill marks or the assist marks, whatever you call them, for her, because the members that have come through for HLE are so goddamn bulky. Rel, Gnar, Poppy, Sylas, all bruisers in their own right. The only real target is that MF, and even then, she can only be killed once every so amount of times. BLG though, round out their draft with their own bruiser. The Galio comes in, and this is setting up for a very protective comp. You've got the Lamb's Respite, you've got the Hero's Entrance on top of it. So much protection, so much play potential if they go aggro with these picks. It's only gonna be down to execution. Both comps have wombos, both have their own combos. Only one can win this game 4. Drafts are locked. I'm hyped. This is pure pandemonium of a series. As both teams, they've played calculated. They've played chaotic. And it comes down to this for BLG. Win, you're through to semis. Lose, you've got to win one more. Let's get into game number 4. Oh, crack of the neck. Ready for this one. It's exciting, as expectations on the early game need to be set. Kindred is a champion you need to play for. I'm intrigued because I think BLG will initiate a lane swap. Or they don't. I think one of these two teams will initiate a lane swap. It won't be matched. It can't be matched by BLG. They want to avoid matching it. And the reason is, whichever side has the advantage in the push should allow for a scuttle crab to spawn there. And you guarantee your scuttle. Basically, you make it so that you have a legitimate 50-50% chance of securing your first mark. Once you get that, then you get a bit of a better situation. Now, I like this ward that was just being shown. It means that it stops basically any early advancement into the river for a contest. As Zaka's going to sweep her, try and steal away some XP, won't be able to benefit from it. But yeah, just taking a look at it, the start's unknown still. But with the fact that Rumble hasn't shown yet, sorry, the Gnar hasn't shown yet, expectations of a lane swap have happened. And now everyone's aware. But they were aware probably about 10 seconds ago that this was happening. This realistically benefits BLG because they get the probably guaranteed scuttle on whichever side of the map they want to go for. Kindred has started topside, so she's going to be pathing down into the disadvantage stage unless she plays this split map state where the Poppy obviously is splitting camps. I'm pretty sure the ward that was in the jungle spotted the invade, so BLG should be aware that the camps are being split. Indeed they are, with the Kindred going in. Obviously Bin dropping that ward there will spot Peanut. And this potential tower dive is being covered here. Level 1 still on Bin. Crash down going to be used, but the counter strike is massive. The leap strike to get level 2. And this is huge. Bin staying alive and flashes are being burnt here. HLE over committing to a play. And that's a lot actually invested to try and get first blood. They're still committing as Bin goes in and counter strike forward. Almost gets Delight trapped under tower, but Bin is isolated. A massive grand entrance. Won't get the trade back. But it's first blood over to Viper. And that is the best outcome for HLE after a dicey play is on flashing forward. He's denying the resets. This is a Hellasang-esque play. I love this guy. It's also allowing for Bin to get push out, which is great. And the reason that's great is because essentially the Jax isn't really supposed to have push into a split map. Now, obviously the Gnar has been put into a difficult situation as well. Has only just started to be able to farm. Meanwhile, the Jax obviously got a bit. The issue is an assist went over to Doran, so he's able to stay a little bit more in advantage over Bin. But yeah, as a whole, this game isn't the worst, I would say. It's not the best of states, considering there is almost a 1k gold lead. It is in fact a 1k gold lead to HLE right now. But you think what was burnt in that play to make it? The potential for a play onto Viper is still there. Grubs is a little bit of an issue. And this is interesting. HLE are trying to keep the lane swap. So not HLE, BLG trying to keep the lane swap state. Has Bin actually TP'd topside instead of going to the bot side to match Doran. So they're trying to keep the bot lane gaining gold. I mean, can't blame them. I think they're pretty much saying we're sacking Grubbies in 30 seconds. But as a whole, the state of the game certainly isn't the worst thing for BLG. It's not the best. Shun didn't actually get first mark. The next next scuttle to spawn, he will get it if he's down there. He's already looking to make a play onto Zeka. Autos from the Q also are almost proccing the E. Won't be able to get it. Instead, forced to path away. And now BLG wrestling control for Void Grubs. They've got more members up here. They're able to get onto this Poppy. A lot of combinations come through as the Silas stole away the Galio, which is massive. Means Knight's not able to do much. But because of the health bar being burnt away there as Peanut unable to really stay around, it means that Grubbies get secured by BLG. And That's massive. Now, just keep your eye on Shun here, as I think he's going to immediately beeline to the bottom side of the map for his first mark. Playing it safe, not getting aggressed, and yeah, in actuality, it's going to be peanut beelining for the denial of the mark. As, yeah, he's going to deny the first mark of the game for Shun. Just keep the Kindred unable to get it for as long as possible. It's a massive gain for HLE. But BLG, realistically speaking, they've got plenty of time to get the first mark. Now, obviously, how do you get marks is probably the biggest question. Firstly, you get one for marking a target and getting them killed, as Grandmaster's Might's going to be used here in topside bin. Almost killing off Doran there. As bot side, he actually flashed to try and get it. I just realised that's now on cooldown. But as a whole, you get marks. You see on Shun right now, he's got the Poppy portrait on his, next to his health bar. That means that they're the marked target. You kill them, you get a mark. Simple as that. Now, marks do spawn onto camps. The first mark is always on the scuttle crabs. You kill the scuttle crab, you get a mark, if it's the one that has the obvious mark above it. Now, right now, 3 scuttle crabs have died. Shun lost the 50-50 early game, so didn't get his first mark. Once you get first mark, then depending on how the game's going, depends on where the mark spawns. Sometimes they spawn further back into the enemy's jungle. Other times, they'll spawn on your side. That's a very rare occasion where you're basically losing pretty badly. Sometimes they spawn on objectives like the Dragon and also Rift Herald. But that is a very slim chances. Potential play on bot side. I'm gonna just peter out. I'm just looking. The next scuttle crab to spawn is on the top side of the map. I'm just checking to where the Poppy is, and she's also up there. Now, early game power always will favour the Poppy over this Kindred, as it's just extra damage. As top side, Bin's going in aggressive, doesn't have flash to continue to chase. Doran isn't able to continue it, as that's going to be Galio taunting up the Poppy. Kindred not going to be able to get in range to put the damage down. And that's another scuttle crab secured by this Poppy, meaning another mark denied. 10 minutes in, 0 marks is massive for HLE, as you're denying the potential power that this Kindred has when she hits 4 marks. So, some people might not know this, Kindred needs 4 marks in order to have any form of power. You get extra attack range, a little bit more damage overall in your kit, and realistically speaking, a lot more power. Now, BLG are realizing we can't really play topside. Kindred's not been able to get a mark, so they kind of don't have pressure on the map there. So they're gonna just give up the second wave of grubs. They realize, hey, we've already got 3. What's the worst they can? What's the most they can get? It's 3. So it's an even score in that right. The fun thing is, they get first Drake, and it's a late first Drake because it's Cloud Drake. No one really wants that. The issue is now second Drake is Infernal. I think we'll probably see some panning down here by HLE for when that spawns. Infernal Drake is always very important. Getting that is nice. so they're probably gonna pan down here. Also with the fact that the literal next Skull Crab is down there as quickness is going to be used here. Zaka's going aggressive into 2 members, looking to burst out Shun, forcing the Kindred back. Will not get Lamb's respin out. And that's just a little chunk damage onto the Kindred. That's all that play is. It's top side. Now ult's going to be used here. It's basically just going to be used on cooldown here. There's Doran and Bin have just been constantly brawling one another all game. The interesting thing is, the Scuttle Crab spawned. Poppy's pathing away from it. The issue for BLG is Shun's taking a reset. Probably thinking it will be taken by HLE due to the fact that they're positioning. So Peanut's probably not expected to be topside. The quickness is going to be used to deny a potential play. The keeper's verdict also stops Rakan. This is a good play overall by HLE because it's unexpected. I don't think people were expecting them to have cover topside, as well as getting the TP, or the tower in the bot side. However, Knight's looking to punish, the taunt comes through, 2 members locked up, the E won't land, and it's just going to be a dead Viper. HLE sacrificed their bot lane, and that's not the best. Shun's finally going to get his first mark. 13 minutes into the game, and he could have got 2 if he put his mark onto the Kaiser. Not Kaiser. The MF. And basically would have been 2 marks, and that would have probably changed the tempo of the game. I'm going to be playing Guess Where the Mark Spawns for the next few minutes, because I don't know where the next mark will go. It could go absolutely anywhere on HLE's side of the rift. On's found a flank angle. As Harold spawns, Zeka could be caught. Won't overcommit. Instead, BLG just going to bully away HLE from the river. Clear out the vision. Control the area. But do HLE want to contest? Peanut's not going to overstep. He's joining up with Delight, but Harold's already been secured. BLG finally getting control of objectives. And it's interesting. There's a 200 gold lead now for this Kindred over the Poppy. And it's because Shun's been constantly power farming. When Kindreds aren't able to secure scuttles, they just go on full clears because they don't have the power to make ganks. Kindred isn't a ganking champion, it's a cleanup champion. It's not like Poppy, who has CC in the kit. It's a champion that really just benefits from playing it slow. Now, there's a Scuttle Crab spawning. I think that might actually be the next mark, because if you don't get marks quick enough, the second one will spawn on it. Now, that being said, there is a slight advantage for HLE, so it's more than likely could be that. But Elks just got bursted out. Kindred showing mid. Drake is up in 20 seconds. With the ADC forced back, it's more than likely going to be Drake over to HLE. Now, the caveat of the play is topside. Bin's got a lot of damage down onto the tower. But keep your eyes on this. Yeah, the mark did spawn on the Scuttle. I'm glad I know that knowledge, that it can go onto Scuttles twice in a row based on game state. But yeah, HLE probably will get the Scuttle topside because BLG have grouped up bot. They've got the potential to make a play for this objective. They secured a Drake. 2 Drakes in. Mountain Soul on the table. That's actually quite a big dragon buff if you think about it. If it was HLE stacking them, they'd certainly love that, because you get so much added value with your comp. We already said that they're a Bruiser-esque comp. The fact that they could get Mountain Soul to get the extra shielding resistances is massive. Now, intriguingly, Peanut was just spotted on a ward, starting up this scuttle, secures it, gets his jungle item completed. It's nice for him. It stops another mark going over to this Kindred Soul. Shun, still unable to get really much value out of this Kindred just yet, but already got his Kraken Slayer, building up presumably for a Trinity Force. As on a knight on ward, gonna be forced to jump away, run away. Don't want to get collapsed on, because let's be honest, HLE's collapse is deadly. A lot of lockup. You've got the Poppy kit, the Gnar ulti, the Silas stealing away the Galio ult, as well as his own abscond abduct. It's powerful. And a very hard thing to deal with. The next mark spawned, by the way, onto the Gromp, the enemy Gromp. And that's a bit of a issue for BLG because they have to overextend to get that. I don't think they'll be getting that unless they outright win a massive team fight in the next few minutes. Now I'm just looking, the Poppy's already pathed over there. Yeah, that's going to be mark secured for HLE. Well, mark denied by HLE. So, BLG just continue to play the game. The win probability still sits in favor of HLE. A slight gold lead out by 700 gold. And BLG looking to ascertain control. Baron's up in a minute's time. Don't really expect either team to go for that just yet. But the scaling factor of BLG is an ever-looming threat. And with the fact that they can put pressure as the quickness goes in, Silas is forced to run away with his own stolen Rakan. That's going to force the tier 2 to fall. Tier 2? Tier 1 to fall. BLG, they make an aggro play and get money out of it. On stepping quite far forward, Grand Entrance will get onto the Rel, crash down to follow, and they look to kill the overstepping Kindred. That's actually a massive pick. It means Peanut's going to get to steal away some camps. If he sticks around, he will do so with the smite. And yeah, HLE content with how this game's going, I feel. There's no real avenue so far for BLG to make plays, as HLE have been quicker to the punch. The only issue for the LZK first seed is these towers are falling pretty quickly on their side of the map. BLG have been applying pressure onto certain areas to get it, and the response has been a little lackluster over the past few minutes. Now, while we can continue to talk about this, let's take a look at some items that have come through. 2 items online for this MF, Bloodthirster and IE, means that she's going to be hitting like a truck with them double ups and make it rains, as well as the bullet times. You name it, they're all going to be hurting you. Now, on the caveat side of it, 2 items complete for this Kaiser. Not the most damage heavy of items, but still enough to bully you out as Peanut's forced to run away. Being chased down a little bit. But BLG aware of the situation. Dragon's up, and both teams need to fight for it. This is a do or die Drake. Sole point if BLG get it. Peanut already chunked, but keep your eyes on the engage as Knight had his ulti stolen away by Zaka. potential to make a play by this hijack Galio's hero's entrance could be massive. Doran goes mega. As this Drake is just dropping quickly, it's being burnt by BLG. The Gnar through allows for the steal. The double Galio ult is massive as the bullet time gets denied. The engage comes through as the killer instinct into the backline allows for Viper to get executed. It's just Elk free firing in, Peanut being deleted as Zeka finds Shun, but it isn't enough. The Kaiser's still alive, and 4 members of BLG thrive as they slay 4 and take HLE pretty much out of this game. Finally, Shun gets his second mark, and it's a big one. Sure, HLE steal away the objective, but it's still a big fight. You watch it again, and you've got to keep your eyes on Elk. He makes a massive outplay. Gnar gets the big ulti to deny the engage. And while Jun's land respite kind of feels lackluster, you just keep your eye on Elk. He's into the backline, killing off Peanut, kills off Viper, and then it's just easy chase down. Knight's able to stay alive because he's so goddamn tanky. Jax is Jax, who's just able to negate all auto attacks onto him. And there, boom. The cleanup is real for BLG. As the LCK first seed just get to win the fight. So, take a look at the teamfight damage, and yeah, it is just Elk and Bin finding the fight for the team. It's so hard for HLE in this situation to find winning fights, so they're gonna force the Baron and potentially burger flip this game. BLG, notice the health bar is being chipped away at. It's about 50%. TP's gonna come through here, and that's gonna be Knight joining up with the team. HLE aren't fully pulling off of it as it's dropping. The Gnar ult comes through as On gets denied his engage, but into the backside goes Knight as he gets a massive taunt. But Delight is buying time. The Galio ult is cancelled, allowing for the bullet time to pick off the members. It's a 1-for-1 trade as Delight gets killed off by Shun. BLG back into the bit as Baron hasn't fully reset. On goes in, the Lamb's Respite does work, and now the engage can go through. The counter strike not going to deny anything, and it's 2 members down. HLE find the fight and get the Baron. It's a massive turnaround as they ace BLG from the Rift and get themselves an everlasting Baron buff. It is massive for them, as they're now going to be able to crack open some standing gold towers. We watch this fight again. It's a good play. Doran peels away. Knight only lands onto Peanut with the ulti as Jax is denied his leap strike. Because the stuns land onto the Galio, unable to allow him to escape, he's basically just plundered to the bullet time. And while all this scurrying around the Baron's happening, Baron's just killing off BLG. They stay in the pit too long. Bin tries to get a massive counter strike, but it isn't well timed. He gets a kill, sure, at least, but it's just a misplayed, wishy-washy fight from BLG, who just lose out. It's an easy way to put it. Shun's still not hit 4 marks, and we're 26 minutes into the game. It is dire if you're a Kindred, as your jungle's now being suffocated. BLG are losing map presence left, right, and center. 30 seconds until the next Mountain Drake, and you know full well HLE will have control of that river. The vision line being set up deep into BLG's jungle with no avenue in. or no easy avenue in, I should say. There's plenty of avenues in, but most of them are being contested. HLE positioning aggressive Zeka, trying to force the damage down. Will hijack the Galio ult. And now a potential fight can begin. Shun off to one side. Sorry, it's not Shun. It's On and Bin off to one side. Finally trying to regroup with their team. Bin's got the potential flank angle here. But he will be marked as Delight and Zeka hunting for him. Channeled Hextech Flash coming through. The Rel won't happen, but the steal comes through. Shun finds it, and the quickness comes through. The Galio ults are going to be channeled simultaneously, and into the backline they go. First kill of the fight goes over to Zeka as he kills off On, but keep your eyes on the chase down. Knight is a killing machine, and he shuts down Viper. Elk's able to get one for himself as well, and down goes Peanut. Elk is a menace on this Kaiser, and he's looking for more. Doran could potentially make it out if he was quicker, as he is killed off by Bin, and all that remains is Zeka on the Rift, who is being pincered into the midline. He's actually winning the 1v1 out with Knight, but Taunt comes through, pulled to his own doom. He goes forward, and he's gonna be forced into killing off Jun. He won't be able to do so. Instead, he's knocked into the air. The counter-strike will secure his life. It's a shutdown of the Silas. And BLG take it to HLE. Let's take a look at this again. It's the Simul Galio ults coming through that really just anonymizes this fight. It's blow for blow. A massive quickness does get slightly stopped as they double into the fight. A lot of knockups, but Zeka is the benefactor initially, but into the backline goes Bin, immediately bursting out the MF alongside Knight. And yeah, the chase downs happen continually through the fight. Elk's just free firing as well, meaning that it's such a big team fight win for the LPL first seed. And look at all the happy fans, as well as those dying from their first seed falling. Baron up in a minute 30 time, and that Kindred that we were saying slow to the marks finally has 4. The extra attack range is going to be huge for contesting objectives, as well as basically chasing down isolated members. This HLE squad have potentials to play on sides, but in this current game state, I don't think you want to, as you've now got 4 completed items on this MF. GA was just picked up, and the potential pick here is Elk could be caught. Galliot's going to come through here as Peanut's knocked into the air. The quickness is used as On is going to be able to deny Delight's entry, but Knight sacrifices himself to keep this 7-1 Kaiser alive. That is a sacrifice of the century, as Baron's up in 20 seconds. He won't be alive for when it spawns. HLE are aware, realize they can get this tier 2 and turn straight towards the pit. The issue for them is Shun is still alive, Elk is still alive. These carries for BLG still can thrive in potential fights. So a lot needs to be done to deny access to this pit. Blue trinket's going to be dropped. TPs are going to come in. It will be contested. Bin is in the area looking to get onto the backside. Counter-strike's procced. He's going to stun up too. Sonya's come through and the picks can come into play. Bin's just going to be isolated and killed as Knight finally joins up with the team. It's still a 4 for 5, but Shun's just free firing. Doran's being ran down. Tower will fall in the bot side. HLE are losing out on the map overall because BLG's waves are doing it better. But the potential fight can continue. TP back in from Doran, who will not be knocked into the air by the grand entrance. Shun off to the side, hunting for Delight. And this could be the potential fight. Peanut catches out on. The grand entrance comes through as that's going to be Knight securing the first kill of the fight for his team. MF gets a massive channel, but the kills still going in favor. Shun finds Doran, and Peanut is looking for more. The Lamb's Respite is going to be channeled with a stolen grand entrance, but Viper is still free firing. The GA is going to be popped, and it's down to Elk to make the outplay. He gets an Icathian rain killing spree, and he's looking to get more as he trades his life with Zeka. It's a double kill to Elk, and he shuts down HLE's chance of taking the Baron. BLG down a member throughout it all, find the picks, make the plays, and it starts with this wishy-washy engage from on. It looks awkward. Knight secures a kill onto Delight somehow and does so much damage in the end to Zeka. And then it's just so split that Shun's able to just kill off the Gnar, and this Lamb's Respite, it stays alive basically long enough for Knight to basically do damage, and Elk's just free hitting. The Abscond Abduct misses the Kaiser, meaning that the initial play won't happen. Keeper's Verdict gets wasted, and then the E from the Kaiser, the invisibility, allows for the reposition and the kill to come through. And if Zeka stayed alive, that probably could have been Baron to HLE. It isn't, and instead we're beginning another dragon dance. Soul for BLG if they can get it, and they're looking for the fight immediately as that's a dead on. The grand entrance and heroic entrance will not combine together. Instead it's just an Galio to the backside, and Elk has killed off Viper. It will be in carry trade as Peanut gets that one back, but Doran is being ran down by Shun. It's so much damage from his Kindred, and he can continue to chase as that is a massive bin ult. Just doing work. He deletes the Poppy. No jungler for HLE. It means that Soul's almost certainly secured as the Rel ran down to the earth. As it will probably fall here. Keep your eyes on the Silas jumping over the wall looking for a potential trade back. Thought there could have been more there. But Zeka knows he can't overstep as this game would be over. The issue is Soul will go over to BLG, and this game is so goddamn hard to play from here. Forget picking up marks. You're at 5 now for this Kindred. You don't need more once you hit 4. And he is certainly finding his footing in the recent fights. He's able to thrive in these fights and just push targets away. And yeah, now Soul secured. This is almost certainly Baron on top of it. Peanut can't get anywhere near. And HLE, your base could be opened up here by BLG. So we take a look at the initial play it's on. Basically trying to get aggressive. He gets onto Peanut with the charm, misses Viper, crucially with his ulti, but Flash Taunt allows for the Killer Instinct reposition, and all of BLG dogpile onto Viper. There's no way for him to fight. MF isn't going to find value, and then it's just Shun and Bin just running down targets. Simple as you like, it's very easy for them to team fight here. This is a very big overchase into the Rel, but they needed to do it in order to kind of secure potential players. I thought for a second there that Zeka could go for an outplay onto the Kaiser. Will not do so. Will not give his life potentially over either. So, HLE just trying to hold the waves. It's a very hard task to do, especially considering they outright don't have the pressure left anymore to exert on the map. BLG have a few bits of standing gold to collect. That tier 2 on the top side was one. This mid lane tier 2 is another. They should almost certainly fall here. Unless Doran gets aggressive. Taunt through. 9 to the wall. That's a massive pick if they can get him tonight, but he is just too goddamn tanky. Hollow Radiance, Riftmaker, and Zhonya's with a Warden spell in the back pocket. Yeah, that Galio won't die anytime soon. Tier 3 in the top side will fall alongside the mid lane tier 3 as well. TP is coming in from BLG. They are on the victory march. But will they overcommit? Bin could have been caught out there. Jumps to safety, realizing he's isolating himself from his team. Pan to the bottom side of the map, hopefully. And we should see a potential as Knight dashed forward. Could be jumped on here, but here comes Bin. He's looking for a fight. HLE won't give it to him. Instead, they realize their tier 3 in the bot side is very exposed. Their top lane inhibitor falls. Now, the victory march ever looming for BLG. Charm comes through, the quickness is massive, the grand entrance is not. Bullet time over top, tags onto a few, forces the stopwatch out from Bin, but the continuation of the health bars being deleted here. HLE forced back to the fountain, the Nexus towers being targeted. One already deleted as the Baron is gone. BLG don't overstay their welcome. Realize they've basically got HLE on the ropes. They don't need to overexert. Just play it slow. Oh, Elk could have been caught there. Completing the last remaining items here. GA online for Jun. He's pretty much unkillable now. Lamb's Respite plus Guardian Angel combo. Good luck getting that carry. On top of that, Frozen Heart complete for Knight. So, MF damage, Gnar damage mitigated by the attack speed lowering. So, HLE, they're gonna need a miracle. Zeka steals away the quickness, ready for the Elder Drake fight, because that's where we're potentially gonna see these two teams meet up yet again. Zeka being ran down. One more auto would have been Silas being jumped on even more. Shun's just such a menace. The base of HLE, all that remains is one Nexus tower. The waves need to be cleared before they reach it, but they're unable to do so. These autos coming through, the quickness engage come through and they land onto 3 members. It's such a massive engage as the tower falls. The Nexus will be targeted. The Lamb's Respite allows for the take. And BLG prove to be the best first seed at this tourney as they knock out the LCK first seed in arguably a very explosive series. It wasn't that dominant, but it was controlled to end it out. Chaotic, but controlled. BLG showed up, proved to be the better team, and realistically speaking, kind of draft kingdomed HLE in games 2 and 3. And that resulted in a game 4 just dominance. As they surprised, I'm pretty sure, with the Kindred. Sure, it was punished early, but it wasn't stifled, it wasn't killed, and it was able to power farm to reach its power spikes in terms of itemization, and realistically from there, HLE could not match them and lose out here in Worlds quarterfinals. And with that, our series is over for tonight. An explosive set of games that I've enjoyed, to be honest. So, thank you very much for joining me. I don't know why I closed that, but yeah. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new here if you want to. And I will see you guys for my semi-finals predictions. Oh, need to crack my neck for them because they're pretty big. Don't want to miss it. Peace out.